So
Yes.
I think it's like, again, going back to that abundance thing, but staying in your lane. Don't try to take what everybody's doing and worrying. Like, did you see how good that was? Did you see, oh, we got to do that. We got to do this. Or just kind of like focusing it in and building your own brand. It's like Louis Vuitton didn't try to be Gucci.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Cam Hemphill here, your host for Medical Millionaire. Hey, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to tune into the podcast. Our goal is to give incredible value and insight for practice owners. So if you're thinking about becoming a practice owner, you own a practice and you're looking to take it to the next level, guys, all of these episodes that we create, they're 100% designed for you and to help elevate your practice, your business, and ultimately seek profits at your practice. So, guys, I have a wonderful friend, guest, somebody that has been in the medical aesthetics world for many years. She has worked at a ton of medical aesthetics practices, built teams, built spas, understands tech, understands processes, understands profit, KPIs, numbers. She has it all. And I was so blown away by her story that I had to have her on the show. I want to welcome Cortney Hall out of Draper, Utah, my hometown, Salt Lake City, Utah. She is one of the owners and COO at True Medical Spa. It's a thriving practice. Can't wait to hear the story she has to share with you. Cortney, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Cam. I appreciate it. It's good to be here.
Well, I've been wanting to have you on for a while. And, we spoke the other day. And oh my gosh, you and I know a lot of people.
We
And
do.
maybe that comes with being coming from, we're both from Salt Lake City. So this episode is going to be unique.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, we did. We knew a lot of people. I'm like, how have we not been introduced sooner? So I'm excited.
Absolutely. I know it's, Utah's, it's like small lake city.
Small
So for
lake.
those of you that are tuning in and are from that area or visited that area, or if you haven't visited Salt Lake City, I would encourage you to do so. It's grown over the years tremendously. And my gosh, there's like a med spa on every corner. Some people call it the medical aesthetics capital of the country. Talk to us about that from your perspective.
Yeah, literally every corner. I think I've got one point 0.3, point 0.2. I mean, seven of them just right around me that I could count on my hands. And the thing is, a lot of them are all like really good. So there's a
Hmm.
lot of great owners, a lot of great injectors. So it's not like we have a lot on every corner, and be careful. Utah has really, really great talent. So I feel like our clients are always in good hands. If we can't deliver something here and they go down the street, like they're going to have a great experience. And that's comforting too.
That's an interesting perspective. And I agree with you. I think, well, because you hear it's like if someone goes down the street, they're not going to get the same experiences here. And I know that's like core true to any brand. Everybody has their own value prop, their own brand, their own way of doing things.
Sure, different.
Yeah,
We can
or
be
very
different.
different, right?
We can separate our, like, you can have your niche or your niche, but I 100% believe in abundance. And if we're like holding too tight to every single client, we're missing like the bigger picture of it all. So it's like a flow of clients coming in and out. And I feel like, one, it keeps my blood pressure down. So I'm just going to keep continuing to believe it.
Yes, I love that. There's a lot of talent in Utah in general. Me being from there, there's so many influencer. There is so many smart entrepreneurs. You have Silicon Slopes in Lehigh that's right around the corner from you that just blew up in the past 15 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's something in the water or like why Utah is such a like it's like a breeding ground for entrepreneurs and success.
Yeah, it really is. I think because like way back, MLMs were huge.
Mhm.
And I swear that kind of like triggered all these little mini entrepreneurs to like believe in themselves because they had structure, and then they got bigger and bigger and then came up with their own ideas and dreams. And maybe, I mean, I don't know. I'm not
Yeah,
a,
and they just
I don't know, but I
they
think.
execute and I don't know if it's like I don't want to take it to like the Mormon religion or anything, but like, it's an interesting state where you have it's a religious state owned by the Mormons, I would argue, for the most part, right? And then you also have, a tremendous amount of plastic surgeons, you have a tremendous amount of tech, like I
Yep.
said, influencers. And I mean, if you look like Draper, Utah, you look at Alpine, Highland, that whole East Bench going to Holiday, Cottonwood Heights, shoot, then you go up to Park City. It is a very affluent environment,
Hmm.
extremely affluent.
Yep. Yep. 100%.
So how does with so much competition, with so much talented composition, like competition, there's a lot of talent, there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of wealth. There's a lot of very smart individuals where you guys are. Like, how do you operate in an environment like that? And also to build on that, I'm trying to think of another environment that is similar, and I guess something would be almost like Beverly Hills in a way, kind of. Like, but how do you operate in an environment like?
So I've always been a big believer on you creating your vision based off it's your creating your vision, your mission statement, your standards, your companies, your core values. And in a way, I kind of have to put my blinders on. I don't follow a ton of places on Instagram. I have like a lot of injectors and then estheticians that either follow me and sometimes I'll follow them back just to stay in the loop and stay engaged with community. But the second I believe that you start worrying about what special or what promotion or what event they're running down the street and what they're doing over here and what they're doing over here, and you're trying to take it all, you've lost sight of your vision and you have a little bit of theirs, a little bit of theirs, a little bit of theirs, and you're losing direction on what you're building. And so I stay kind of in my lane. And I think it's so important to be celebrating other success too. So if I do hear of a great thing, or we have a rep here that's a laser rep for a very popular brand, and he'll like post stuff on this new med spa, bringing on their device. And I make it a point to like get on and be like, congratulations, you're going to love it. Like celebrate, because that's what I
Yes,
want. Like
yes,
treat others how you want to be treated. And so
yes.
I think it's like, again, going back to that abundance thing, but staying in your lane. Don't try to take what everybody's doing and worrying. Like, did you see how good that was? Did you see, oh, we got to do that. We got to do this. Or kind of like focusing it in and building your own brand. It's like Louis Vuitton didn't try to be Gucci.
Yep.
Like, what would that have looked like, right? Don't try to mix your brands and stand out. Everyone can. Everyone can
Yeah,
stand out.
I really love that you say that, because that goes really to like your value proposition in terms of who you are, being authentic, being true to yourself, being a true medical spa. How's that?
Yeah,
It's just your
but
brand.
expensive.
There you go. Yeah. But no, I think like in this world of social and Instagram and all this stuff, like you can get into this rat race of comparison
Yes.
and try to level up and be the next and compare the Joneses and whoever the hell it is. But you can lose sight of what you're really trying to accomplish. And I think owning your brand identity, right? I think it's really easy to get away from your brand identity in this type of environment.
So easy. As a matter of fact, there was a girl that was around my age and she's huge in Utah. And I had to unfollow, not because I'm like, oh, I can't follow her, or because I was comparing myself so heavily to her. Like she did so much more in my eyes of Instagram, like of the world of social media. She had done so much more than me. And I felt myself like beating myself up, and I actually really, really admire her and like look up to her, but I just couldn't follow anymore because I wasn't secure enough to like, I just kept beating myself up. I'm like, I
Yeah.
know that I've got talent, but for some reason I just kind of let that get into my head. So at that time, I just kind of press pause. And I think that that's healthy to do. Like
Very
recognize
healthy.
that kind of triggered something in me. I don't like that trigger. And so I'm just gonna unfollow it for a minute until I
Mhm.
can kind of build more confidence in myself that I am exactly where I'm supposed to be.
That's gold. I mean, the fact that you had the ability and confidence to share that, Like that means a lot. And so for the audience, guys, if you're tuning in, we all know that we have been in the spot of comparing ourselves to somebody who's maybe been in the business longer, or maybe has adapted to social media better, has a bigger following, has a bigger house, has a bigger practice, has a nicer car, whatever the hell it is. I think that if we're all honest with ourselves, we have all experienced that. Right. And I think what Courtney said was a really good point. If you find yourself in like this environment, maybe it does make sense to unfollow. Not because of that you're a hater,
Yeah.
right? But because it's like, hey, I need to focus on me, and I need to stop getting like caught up in this rat race of becoming somebody maybe that I'm not.
Yes.
Or, if you stay in your lane and focus on who you are, it makes it, everybody has a story. Everybody has authenticity. And it's important that we own that and share that with the world.
Yes.
I love it.
100%.
So talk to us more about your experience. That's what really caught me by surprise, was how much experience you have in terms of running teams at practices, operating EHRs, CRMs, like the marketing side. I mean, this could be a really long question, but you have a tremendous amount of experience, and it's unique of all the experience you have, because you work with a lot of brands. You have seen a tremendous amount of success in practices and practice ownership. And that caught me by surprise. Like, what is the secret sauce? What are some of the things that the audience can learn from you on what to do, what not to do, based upon your journey and your feedback?
I think one I'm going to start with, and then I'll kind of dive into the story, is first and foremost, own your story. And the second that we own our stories, we're free from judgment. So I completely own my story in my personal life, which was a shit show. And that's a whole other podcast, and then you would love to hear it, I'm telling you. To my personal, which was even a path, very off path as well, I felt like. But the second I felt like I owned my story, I felt no one can judge me as hard as I already judged myself through it. And I learned so much through it that I did feel finally I felt like I was set free to where I can come and share it with people I have no idea who they are. I am comfortable in it now. So I'd say first and foremost is own your story. And I did that through a lot of books, a lot of reading, a lot of mentors, and a lot of looking in the mirror and self reflection for sure. But I started in the industry. Funny enough, and I didn't even tell you how I got started at this job, was a business called Center for Facial Appearances. This was way back. It was a world renowned oculoplastic surgeon. He has passed about 2 years ago. His family is still dear to me and in my life. They've circled back into my life recently, which has been so cool. Um, so Dr. Rick Anderson, I worked for him, and John McCann was at that practice as well. And I was actually hired there through a temp service. So I know the owner, she's still a friend of mine. Back then, she's like, I've got a place. I had just got off of working with my dad on the pipeline as a welder helper. I had got out of sales. I was done. I had worked at Nordstrom. I did all these things, and I was a single mom. I could not pay my bills. And I went, and my dad was going through Utah on one of these canyons. And he's like, just come be my welder helper. And so I had a pink hard hat, and I
Oh my
would
gosh.
control his heat and the grinder and grind welds, whatever. So that was a whole different life. I stopped doing that. It was amazing pay, but I needed to that job had ended. And so I was placed from a staffing company at being a receptionist for this guy or for these surgeons. So I worked there, and it was hard. It was really, really hard for me. I was not who I am today. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't feel like I was good enough. I definitely didn't feel like I was worthy enough. I just never felt like I was like the cool girl. I carried a lot. I carried a lot of weight with me. And I met a rep, and she worked with Allergan back then, and she still does. She's actually very big at Allergan now, which I just ran into her. I still have relationships with so many people that have helped me along my journey.
It's amazing.
And she said, hey, I know of a company that's hiring. It was Lifetime Fitness. And there's one big one here in Utah. They're all over the nation. But she said they're hiring for a spa director. And I had no leadership. I had not ran a team, nothing. But I'm telling you right now, when people are like, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
I knew someone that knew someone and they trusted her. And it's so funny because in this industry, a lot of people know Judy. It starts with a K, her last name. I would butcher it. Judy is still very reputable. She talks on all of these med spa events. She's all over. She's so good. Judy,
Starts with a K, right? I
yeah,
think I know who you're
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about. Judy
And
Cap.
Kalwiski.
Yes, I know who you're talking about. Okay.
So she was the spa director, like the main national one. And another lady. We did a FaceTime and interview, and then I got hired the GM. I interviewed with him, and I ended up working at the Lifetime Med Spa. It was a med spa and spa back then, and I worked there for 8 years. And so I really, really give a lot of credit to that experience because I was able to work in a corporate atmosphere where there was structure. Business, like small business, is like the wild, wild west. And I was going to learn that short after I left Lifetime. So I was able to learn about inventory, read a P&L, and then most importantly, learned a lot about leadership. I took leadership classes. The GM at the time had so many books that I was reading. And I really was allowed, which was so important, to fail forward. So when I did have like the wrong conversation, like tough conversation with an employee, it was always a learning experience. And then I would just do better next time. So I learned a lot at that job. And then after I left that, there was just no growth. And I kind of started feeling like itchy. Like I know I can do more. I know I want to do more. And to get promoted, you really had to move states. And so I just felt like it was the right time to leave there. And so I went off to the wild, wild west of small businesses and entered a med spa. And now I was working alongside with an owner. And it's like I told you when we had talked, gosh, I learned so much because I had a lot of great ideas. But I think the one thing that I didn't appreciate is the grind that she had already gone through. Like I didn't have to grind like that. I built Lifetime really well. I mean, there we had huge revenue successes by all means, but it's so much more when you come into building from nothing and it's your own money in your pocket. I didn't know that then. I didn't understand the grit and the grind that she had and that passion. And so I actually just recently we reached out to each other or she reached out to me and I had to tell her like I really am so sorry. I didn't know what I didn't know. I had no right in kind of the way I even acted of, no, you need to do it this way. You need to do it this way. We weren't collaborative. I should have like taken a step back and said, okay, I can see where you're coming from and learned from her.
Hmm.
She had so much to teach. And I felt like I had so much to teach, but we just kind of weren't quite there.
Gotcha.
So I was there for a year and then I left and again learned so much from that, good, bad, and indifferent. If we're not learning from the best and we're not learning from our worst, we're missing the whole point, I think, of being here. So again, that self-reflection and looking in the mirror, it is pretty gnarly sometimes. It is not. It's a version that you just woke up when you haven't brushed your teeth yet. I look at her a lot. And then I went and there was a very popular plastic surgeon place that I was like, this is it. I know like this is, oh my gosh, if I just got in here, that would like show me that I really am good. Like I deserve it. I'm deserving. I finally got in there and I was like, what the hell? Like it's not them. It is not them. I still refer anyone in that industry and like in their specific specialty, I still tell everyone to go there. Like they are amazing. It's like totally like Taylor Swift. I'm not the problem. I'm the problem.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's me. So I'm identifying, I'm like, I'm in the same rut. Like my voice isn't heard and my ideas aren't collaborated. There's so many hoops that I have to jump through to get one thing approved. And if anyone knows anything about me, I'm very fast moving and maybe a little too fast, but I do move fast. And so that was kind of uncomfortable to there wasn't a space for me to sit even. It was just what it wasn't a fit again. So I had my medical director at Lifetime, he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I want to open up this med spa and it's like more of a men's clinic and hair transplants and will you come and get it started?" And it was honestly a dream and I got to put everything I knew into movement into
Hmm.
motion and hire a team. And I had team members from the last place want to come join me, which that never I'm going to say on camera that I did not recruit anybody. People do reach out to
They
me.
follow the leader. They follow the
They
leader.
follow, and I am not dumb to not take amazing people on. Um, yeah, and see again, I do that with integrity too. I didn't reach out; they reached out to me, and we built an awesome team. And again, it was this guy's first time opening up a med spa. I didn't have money in the game, but man, we did 2.5 million our first, second, and onto our third year. I mean, it was
Jeez.
fast and furious. And just management of money and learning that we both had, it was rough and I ended up leaving there. Just because I felt like the time had come and I was worried about it shutting down and just because of misuse of funds and stuff, which can happen easily. He's not the only person. It is so, so, so common. So I'm like, I want to kind of stay safe. So do you see how like it's so hard to own? Like you think success in my mind back then was you're at a job for 20 years and you're at the same job and you climb this corporate ladder. And so I'm still like kind of beating myself up like I'm not doing it quote right. I'm not doing this right. I don't know do I know what I'm doing? And at that job, I really had to look at the team and look at the numbers to be like something's going right because we retained that whole entire time. We retained all of the core team members. I mean, we had a little trinkle of turnover, but I mean, I'm talking maybe 3%. I mean, it was so small in the turnover in a new company when you're trying to like figure out what the hell is going on. It was pretty incredible. So I went back to playing it safe and went and worked for another plastic surgeon. And because I still didn't learn my lesson that I have a voice and I had a vision, True approached me and I was like, no, I don't want to buy one because they were going to sell. It wasn't doing great. And I had known a couple of people over here and was like, no, I just don't. I went and met with him. I'm like, I don't want to buy it. I don't really want to buy. I feel like that's hard. So if you're thinking about buying or opening a med spa, it's a lot. It is a lot of money that goes into them and a lot of time. And so I kind of brushed it aside for a month, kept working, and I kept thinking, just keep grinding. It's good. It's good. I worked for an awesome guy. And then I was blow drying my hair one morning and I literally heard reach out to Natalie. And she was the one that had reached out to me about this. I turned off my hair dryer immediately. I texted her and said, I would love to meet with you and Ron and talk about a business proposition that I have. And they got me in that same week, which was pretty incredible because he's got a very busy schedule. You know Ron. And sat down, ran my business plan, wanted to come on, sweat equity. I'll come in. You're going to sell this. I'm telling you, you'll laugh at what you can sell a med spa for if it's profitable. Let's go and
Hmm.
make you some money. And signed up with me and a new CFO, Carrie, who's my mentor to me now. And we're not looking back. We have taken it and we had a 400% increase last month.
Jeez.
So
And then when did you go? When did you sign on to True?
last July, so not quite a
Last
year.
July. Okay, so it's almost been a year. Almost been
Hmm.
a year.
Yep.
Well, I mean, you make some points that, for the audience, you guys tuning in, I was trying to add up the other, like all the environments that you worked at starting at Lifetime. And I think it was right around 5, 6, maybe 7, something like that. And what was interesting to hear you talk about, Courtney, was, first off, the corporate environment at Lifetime, right? Like probably establish a really cool baseline of fundamentals of how to run a very successful business. It wasn't like clinical, clinical, clinical. It was baseline business, profit, loss, sales, team, structure, SOP. Very, very different approach versus somebody now that's like, I'm a nurse. I'm sick of being in the hospital, or I went and took, some courses, became an injector, and I want to open up a practice. Very different approaches to the business. Like completely like that's very opposite of what you normally hear now.
Totally.
Right. And then you build a skill there, and you build a skill, and that's something that can never be taken from you. And
Hmm.
and the learning that comes from it. And then you take that environment to the next location. Right. And then again, you build off of that. You know exactly what works, what doesn't work, how to, connect with owners, founders, management, what teams make sense, which one doesn't. And then also for you, I think it's great because you went to a couple other environments that you realize, hey, you know what? I don't have the ability to move as fast as I want to move.
Hmm.
And that's like that's your personality. That, you and I are very similar in that regard, by the way. I'm very, very fast. And I've struggled as well working in corporate environments or working in slow paced environments where it's almost like, guys, we've already done the analysis. We've already had a meeting. We've already talked to so and so. Like, can we just move forward? Because you're killing the spirit almost. You're killing the passion. And so I totally get that.
So
And
true.
I think what you did was you removed yourself from that situation. You're like, hey, this isn't going to work. Like, I'm out. When you could have kept like pushing on it and pushing on it, and ultimately, just not being in a happy environment, which is never fun. We want to be in an environment that we thrive in, right? And then ultimately getting to in a position to saying, hey, like, I'm going to listen to myself. I'm going to believe myself.
Hmm.
And when you reached out to Natalie, something may have triggered you. I don't know what it is. I don't know what you heard. But when you said that, I got goosebumps, by the way, because I think that like the universe does talk to us in ways and tells us like where we should be focusing our energy. And it was in that moment that you took action. And you could have said, nah, no, 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 I don't want to do that. I'm going to go play safe. But you did take action. And I think that you knew there was something special to be had there. And also the people that are also the owners, and they're very successful people. I know who they are, and they have very deep roots into Draper and Salt Lake City, and heavy backing behind them as well, right? So putting yourself in a position to be where you are now. And I think Draper, Utah is probably the most affluent area in Salt Lake City currently. I think it is. Zillow puts out a report, and it's either number 1, number 2, or number 3. Anyway, it's a beautiful area and a lot of disposable income. And so if you position yourself correctly and take action, and that's what I want you guys to get out of the audience, like from what you guys are tuning in, is this is a fierce entrepreneurial woman that was vulnerable at one point. Like when you went to go work at Lifetime, you said, I don't know if I'm good enough. Like, what am I doing here?
I just got chills just like remembering that girl.
I mean, and maybe that's a conversation for another day, but there was something that in your mind, you're like, I'm not good enough. There's no way I'm capable. But again, you're tough as nails because you're like, I'm gonna get uncomfortable. I'm gonna get uncomfortable in this environment. And I'm gonna see what happens. And I continue to see that. And entrepreneur and like the successful entrepreneurs, and really when you look at success, a lot of people think you have to be motivated. For me, it has to do with grit. It has to do with tenacity. It has to do with discipline. It has to do with things you have to do things you don't want to do, and continue to learn, right? And continue to learn from others and surround yourself with uncomfortable moments to continue to grow. And that's like that story right there that you just explained.
It is so uncomfortable to quit, to have to go and like be wanting to interview with people so bad and then go to those same people. And I'm talking months later. I didn't stick it out for years. I don't owe anybody anything. This is a work environment. I've got one life and I'm getting older, right? I'm 43. I'm turning 44 next month. This is like my prime time to work. And I want to make sure all of my work is going into something that I believe in, that it fulfills me, and I feel good about every single day. And I loved these people. And I didn't want to ruin any relationships because relationships are so important to me. And that goes to like with my team and leadership. Like my team and the relationship I have with my team is so important. I valued the owners at these places that I had to quit equally as much. And I wish I could still just be like friends and like love them. But they also, I have to respect, they had a different perspective too. They bet on me to come in and turn a business around, and I get quit months later. You can imagine how that looks on their end too, and rightfully so. That's not for me to go through. I had to honor me. And I think so much I hear people, if I just give it a little bit longer, which is true. Sometimes there are uncomfortableness of a new job, right? I
Sure.
don't get me wrong. I understand that there's a time to work through it, but the voice that was screaming to me was so much louder than that. I knew where it was going. I
Mhm.
knew enough that I knew if years down the road, I'm going to be in the same spot. I'm going to be just managing day to day, clock in, out. I don't want that.
Yeah. I get that. Sounds like it's just a trapped environment and just not happy and have to claw your way out of it, dreading going to the office. I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I think yeah, there's moments where you could, may have. I'm with you. There's places that I've been that maybe I could have stayed longer as well. But when you know, you know.
You know,
It's like I.
yep.
So all right,
So
let's go to the True Medical Spa then. So you found this great environment, great people to collaborate with. You talked about the CFO. Sounds like she's very sharp. The owners are sophisticated. You're sophisticated. You came in almost a year ago. You did 400% growth last month. So I bet you they're very happy with their decision. Um,
hope so.
you're happy with your decision. So what is it about, like, out of all the learnings that you've had, what have you injected into True Medical Spa? Talk to me about team, leadership, tech stack, marketing,
Yeah.
patient experience.
So it is for me, your foundation is your team. It is people. And I've had people follow me through this journey. And one injector that's here today, we started what, one, two, this is our third place. We're like, okay, well, if you're going, let's go, let's go. People are like, are you guys going to say? So bless her heart for even like still having faith that I'm making the wrong decision, because we both bailed like, okay, let's go, let's go. Yeah, she has a lot of faith in me. But it's when you open a business, you can have all of the backing, you can have a investor, you can have your own money, you can build it out to be the most beautiful thing and spend all of your money on the decor, the build out, the machines before you even open your doors. You've got a hefty bill that you're paying before you even introduce the first customer. But what I have found is we're not investing as much in our experience to run and lead a team. We're not paying before we open the doors, we're not going to these leadership courses on how to have tough conversations. And I think that we are all going to have tough conversations. The injector, Candace that's here with me, no, we have not had very tough conversations. It hasn't been just, oh yeah, just let's go. She's on her own. No, we've grown a very strong team and built a very strong team in each place because of tough conversations. Some of my most valued relationships were because we had tough conversations. But they're so hard, right? They're so uncomfortable that I've seen so many owners or managers or whatever just hide them and just, okay, I'll forget about it. I'll forget about it. And then you just start to just build up animosity, or you talk about that person to this person, and then it creates a
Oh,
toxic work environment.
yep.
But again, I was fortunate enough to be able to learn like coaching and feedback and practice and put the reps in every time there is a tough conversation that needs to be had. I'm like, okay, this is going to be a really good experience. And when I hire my team, I tell them, you and I are going to have a tough conversation eventually. And this is how it's going to go. I'm going to say, this is how I saw it. This is a whole lifetime thing that I learned. This is how I saw it. This is what happened. These are all the people and the clients that it affected. Tell me your side. Tell me tell me how you see it. And then this is how I see it. Okay. And if this happened, blah, blah. That's how the conversation's going to go. And they're like, oh, okay. And vice versa. I'm going to do things that are going to piss you off. Do you know why?
Mhm.
Because I'm a human and I make errors every day. And I got called, I was telling you earlier, I mean, I got called a dictator at one of my jobs because I was moving fast. I
Yeah.
changed processes without getting everyone involved and wrapped around it and feeling comfortable. I made an executive decision, which sometimes you do need to get your team wrapped around ideas to make them feel involved and a part of it. And there's other times you really do need to make a decision and explain the why behind it after that you're done. But anyways, I did get called a dictator and I have learned from it and I still remember it to this day. But it is telling them too, it's going to be really uncomfortable to come have a tough conversation with me, but you have to do it. And what I can guarantee is I will sit and I will listen. I will listen to what you're saying. And the
Smart.
second we stop listening to what they have to say, I think that our team, they become employees, and then our employees become disengaged, and then you lose them.
Yeah. Well said. I mean, it's so important, guys, to set expectations up front, knowing that this is a business, there's going to be conversations that are uncomfortable. And it's very healthy to have them. You have to have them in order for voices to be heard, collaboration to be had. And just like you said, I mean, shoot, this is true for any relationship too. If there's this buildup and you cannot have these conversations, or you're just not a good communicator, maybe it's important to go take a class on communication, go hire a coach, an expert, whatever it is. But I think, leadership, communication, team collaboration, and understanding of how to have these conversations, Courtney, is one of the biggest reasons why businesses fail, and why team members don't get along, and why team members leave, and maybe they shouldn't leave, because they're just either we're just not mature enough, or we're not educated enough on how to have the conversation. Because you're right, they can be uncomfortable. They're supposed to be uncomfortable, and I think if we recognize that uncomfortable conversations are powerful and meant to be had, and we're all human, that alone, just setting the expectation up front when you're hiring the next injector, the next esthetician, whatever it is, really kind of sets the stage,
Yeah.
sets the tone. Yeah.
And I'm gonna place a bet that it's probably harder for us to have conversations with our top performers, or tough conversation with top performers, than it is someone that you're like, what the hell are you contributing?
True, I would agree with that.
Because you're like, oh, well, if they leave, I'll just. But for some reason, these top performers can kind of make us prisoners
Hmm.
to our business because we get so scared that if they leave, there's a big of our profit is gonna, some of our revenue and business, it's gonna go out the door too. It's there, people are gonna follow them. And I think it really is important to go back to abundance, because I am not hiring and building my business around one person. First of all, you shouldn't.
There you go.
That's dangerous. And second, I want everyone on my team to feel just as valued as the next, and it's not based off of a number, because we are human. We all we're going to face grief in our life. Me and Candace, we lost our dads 2 weeks apart from each other. We're going to experience heartache. We're going to experience divorce. We're going to experience the birth of a grandchild, a baby, a wedding, a divorce. It doesn't, when people say you leave it at the door, that's that's not that's not how I run it. Now, do we let it overtake our day? Absolutely, but we do hold space. We hold space, we work through it, and then we deliver the experience that clients are coming here for.
That's gold. Yes, absolutely gold. I agree with you. I think, I mean, sure, leave it at the door. We have work to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's extremely important to get to know your team, and that can be harder for others if their team is large and, in different locations or whatever. But your core team, your core leadership team, your core top producers, I think building, like, having team events, getting outside the practice, getting to know each other, whether it's working out, reading, yoga, whatever it is, team building exercise, personality testing, so you can kind of get to know who each other is. And I wouldn't say, like, become their friend. I mean, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that too, as long as there's boundaries,
Sure.
but getting to know them on a personal level, it's going to it builds a much closer bond, and much more in-depth trust and connectivity to each other, and then ultimately pushing that towards the brand to elevate what we're doing here at our practice.
And I love when you even said, like, for a big team or, a bigger place with multiple locations, I think it's important to teach that to each team member. Like, we
Hmm.
can all show up for each other. This doesn't have to just be a me thing. It's
Totally.
when I'm not here, my esthetician is holding space for my injector, vice versa. They're,
Mm,
because I can't be everywhere at one time. But
totally.
when I'm gone, it should be the exact same environment. And we work through it. We work through it together. If somebody made somebody upset, okay, I'll coach you. First of all, do not come and vent to me without knowing that there's going to be a solution. You can come and tell me the issue and say how this pissed you off, but at the end, we're going to find a solution through it. I'll help guide what that conversation can look like, or we can all three meet in this room together. Which one do you feel more comfortable with? No, I just want to go have it with them. Okay, by end of day, and then I want to know how it perfect. And now you've got your people working through tough conversations on their own. I don't need to know every single thing. And this is my job to, Ron, he's not going to hear anything. This doesn't go to him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is all internal stuff. Yep, this is all
This is
internal day-to-day
internal.
operations. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. This is internal. And then we keep building on that. So culture, right?
Yeah, I mean, cultures, it's not talked about enough. It
Mm-mm.
truly isn't. It's like, for me, a lot of my background is tech, digital marketing, process automation, CRMs, finance, all that stuff. I think I've had to learn my culture through experience, similar to you. There's a book out there called Crucial Conversations. I don't know if you've read it or not.
I think I have read that one. I've
It's a
read
good book.
Fierce Conversation.
Fierce Conversations.
Is the one I
Crucial
read.
Conversations. I think the guy may be from Utah. I read it. It's actually kind of a tough read, but it's a great communication book. Like, guys, I'm not, selling it or anything, but it's a great resource out there for exactly what her and I are talking about. And I think it's just really hard to understand how to invest in culture and team and structure and communication without experience. It's really hard. Hey, I'm going to go open up a practice and I'm going to build a team and we're going to race to the moon. It's like that team could easily collapse because of being incapable of how to handle conversations with team members, with human beings at a business level. I've seen it happen a lot, actually. And to your point, I don't know if there's an expert in the space that focuses on culture and team building and bonding within aesthetics and wellness. At least I haven't met someone. I mean, I know lots of consultants in the training side, the tech side, the digital marketing side.
It's that business. It is that how to
Yeah.
have a tough conversation. This is what it looks like, and being able to navigate through it. As a matter of fact, when I was first learning how to have a tough conversation, there was like a worksheet. And it was like, you would write down the structure of the conversation, like why you were talking to this person, what the consequence would be at the end. And so my GM was like, here, go fill this paper out, and then you and I will role play it. I'm like, okay. So I went and I filled out this thing, and I was just like, she did this, and then she did this, and I was just like writing it down. I handed it to him, and he turned the paper over to where it was the back end of the paper, and he was like, "Go redo it." And I was like, "You didn't even read it." He's all, "Look how hard you pressed the pen." Like my pin marks were like, like engraved in the back. He's like,
Yeah.
you cannot be this angry. Like your first draft, fine, go be that angry, but you can't present that angry. So go do it again. So then I went back lightly,
One
like
more
wrote
breath.
down kind of, yeah. So it was kind of interesting. Write it down and see how pissed you are and then redo it. Your shitty first draft and then try it again.
Yeah, it's that that initial reaction versus responding,
Yes.
right? And I think we all have that. Like, man, sometimes it's like some guy pisses you off driving down the road or whatever. You want to react. You take that second breath. Okay, calm down. Let's be cool. Gather our thoughts. Respond. It's going to set you up for a lot more success.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. And just ask yourself, this isn't like them. They must be going through something right now. I think this is like a little bit deeper because this is not a normal like behavior from this team member.
Yep.
And I think that's a really great way. Like, hey, I've noticed X, Y, and Z, and that's really not like you. Is what's going on? Is there something else going on that you want to talk about? Man, you want to talk about breaking out some Kleenex in 2 seconds? When you ask somebody that, you're like, I knew there was something going
Yeah.
on.
Here you go. What's really going on right now? What's really
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah. Cause I feel like it wasn't me. I feel like I was just like the cherry on top of your day. Yeah. Yeah. It happens more
I mean,
often.
to me, from an outsider looking in, it seems like you have the ability to run this practice, this brand easily. You
Just
seem you seem really calm. You seem like this, like you seem confidently calm to me. And it was like the last time you and I spoke as well. And it probably has a lot to do with, hey, here's the team. The team runs the objective. The objective is X. They know exactly what the patient experience has to be like. I could tell you, I've had quite a few practice owners on over the years, and everybody has something unique about them. You seem to have like this really calm, confident aura around you where a lot of the other people that I've had on seem to just have this a little bit of stress. And I think it comes with your experience and how mature you are when it comes to the fundamentals of business. And so I think, like, for the audience, you guys, maybe reach out to Courtney, talk to her, follow her, see exactly how she's running her practice, what makes it different. She came into this practice, I don't think it was profitable, right? I don't think it was doing well. Is that right?
it was in the negative for 4 years.
In the negative for 4 years.
Negative in that we were red for years. And
And
it made
yeah,
its first profitability within a year.
within a
And
year.
my favorite book, and again, like you said, I'm not trying to like sell this book, but way back in the day when I read Good from Good to Great,
Hmm.
and they said, when you are not succeeding, look in the mirror. And when you are winning, look through a window because it's your team. And I believe that full heartedly. If something is not working, I've got to do some self reflection. And I've said this multiple times. But when we are winning, that is them. They are killing it and we are celebrating it. And people are like, oh, you're doing so. I'm like, I don't do a service. So a lot of these owners, they're injectors too. I'm like, I don't have shit to offer. Like, I don't produce. That is not me, but I am here like coach, feedback, listen to them, run the play. Like you said, it takes EMR, it takes marketing, all of that stuff. But what are KPIs and marketing and EMRs and CRMs without a team?
Gosh,
It's
so
me
true.
just sitting in a room. So
Yeah, I mean, you can't be the best injector in the world and run a successful practice like a business without a team. I mean, you have to have systems, processes, get it. You have to have patience in the door. But I think at the end of the day, like, we probably, if we're honest with ourselves, we want to get in a position to where a team runs our brand,
yeah,
runs the location, runs the
the
practice.
biggest success this is how I've defined my success is it's not about the revenue. It's not about the 400% increases. Again, recently, I had another injector reach out to me that wants to come work for me.
My gosh.
That is my definition of success. That's where I know that I'm succeeding is if you want to come be a part of my team and I'm not offering any more money. I'm not offering anything like literally I'm not trying to get you here. And we're saying leave the place that you're at respectfully Like, don't print client lists. Don't do it shade. Like, I don't want that shit to happen to me when you leave. Like,
Right.
I believe in karma. Leave it. People will follow you. We cannot stop the
Yep. They
If you
built the
want to follow their
relationship with the
injector, it's
provider.
going to happen however that happens. But if you want to come and work for me and you reached out to me, that is a very, very big accomplishment for me.
I love that. Courtney, I absolutely love that. It's something because I think like there is a shortage of injectors. There truly is a shortage of NPs, RNs, and if they're at a spot, they're probably making good money. I mean, the chances are they probably are, especially where you are. And for them to want to leave an environment, which there's risk with that, and they want to come work for you, it's a reflection of leadership. And so guys, take note. Like this is a big deal. I talk to a lot of practice owners that have a hard time getting people to their practice. And what I hear a lot is, well, there's so many options, or they want too much money, or we just can't hire anybody, and I think like maybe that's a reflection of how you operate. I don't know. I'm not saying like go check yourself, look in the mirror. But like what I am saying is good people tend to follow good people and they want to be mentored by leadership. And I think like some of these, if someone wants to come work with her, there's a reason. And I think the reason could be, and again, I've never worked with you, right? But the sense I get is people want to work with you because they think that they can learn something from you and eventually advance themselves and you'll help build them up versus keep them in a box.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because these people are entrepreneurs that eventually, who knows? Like, there's always an expiration date, right? They may go open up their own spot. I don't know.
Yeah. And we'll be there at their grand opening.
I
Like,
love it. Like that's like good shit right there, right? And
that's
that's
good.
how.
And that's a good owner. If you just had
Yep.
someone leave and go open their own place, congratulations, because
Yep.
you taught them something.
You
Like,
taught them something. Yeah.
that's amazing. And this girl that's going to come over here, she was like, well, she wants to talk to me this week. I don't know what she wants to talk about. And I'm like, I do. And she's like, what? She wants to keep you. She's going to, if it were me I would be asking you how I could keep you. That's probably the conversation. And smart,
Yep. Yep. I
smart.
have one story for you too, and I know you're busy and I'll let you go. But I met a provider recently. She was bringing in 1.2. She was a $1.2 million producer, a very loyal base, and she'd been with the owner for a while, and without having a challenging conversation with her, he came to her and he presented her with a non-compete agreement without even having a conversation, almost like emailed it to her. Hey, I need you to sign this type of thing. And she was caught off guard because there wasn't communication that was established. There wasn't the conversation that took place. It probably could have made sense for her to sign it and stay where she is. But because the communication was handled so poorly, and how he delivered that was handled so poorly, she left. Maybe it was, wake up call for him and for her. I don't know. Who knows? When I analyzed the situation, because I talked to her quite a while about it, and she reached out for some advice, but it sounds to me like he could have actually retained her. I don't think she wanted to leave, but that was $1 million, more than $1 million conversation if you look up the lifetime value and all that. But it's those types of things that you guys need to be cautious of.
And that was a fear-based response.
That's
And
right.
she felt the fear.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
think when you say, like, you're so calm, I don't lead in fear. I don't control the controllables. More than half this shit will fall off of your shoulders. You
Hmm.
cannot control if someone calls in sick. You can't control if someone leaves, but you can control your attitude and the things that we want to focus on. So there are things that are in our control, and it is how we show up mentally every day. We've got that, and that's pretty much about it. The rest is really out of your control. It does all the time. And so when a tough conversation comes up, or like a tough situation, okay, what's in my control to handle this? And then it may have worked, may not have worked, but let it go.
Yeah, but at least you've like defused and de-risked the situation and put yourself in a position to have a very successful conversation, and keep moving forward. So I love it. So okay, a lot of people tune into this podcast and these episodes. If they want to connect with you, if they want to visit the practice, where's the best place for them to find you?
I am on Instagram. It is a lot of like, I love my family. So it is a lot of like family stuff. And I throw out some business stuff, but it's the Broken Stiletto on Instagram. I was actually making sure I don't even know my Instagram. Yeah, the Broken Stiletto. And
I like
then
it.
yeah, the Broken Stiletto. And that somebody else, an injector I worked with, she came up with that. It was about broken teams and building them.
Okay.
And I wear stilettos all the time, and she came up with a broken.
I love it. I
It was
love the
like my
things you have.
favorite. So it was
Okay,
actually
great.
based off of team. And then I'm at True Medical Spa in Draper. So if you want to email me, it's just Courtney, Cortney at the truemedicalspa.com.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on. And I really appreciate you sharing your story and journey and all the insight that has to do with team building and culture and having these conversations. They're absolutely critical, guys. So we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much again for joining. If you guys found this particular episode valuable, my only ask is you just share it. There's a colleague, there's a friend, there's a partner, there's somebody who needs to hear it. And the entire mission and purpose of this podcast is to help serve others. And we all can learn together and build this community up. So that's my biggest ask. Thank you guys so much. Courtney, again, thank you for your time. Next time I'm in Utah, I'm absolutely going to come see you.
Yes.
And thanks, guys. Happy injecting.
Thank you.